This is another map where Medivh can be very strong. Given the quality of the Medivh play in the last game on Izzy Ismo, beer feels good, man. This is in fact not beer. This is real sugar Mountain Dew. I don't drink a lot of soda, but when I do drink soda, it's always made with real sugar. And not high fructose corn syrup. Hey, Halloran. How goes? Zagara banned out, dying. I'm not sure if Zagara is actually worth the first ban right now. The Vision is quite strong. Vikings banned out, denying the global presence. That's got to be a targeted ban. These teams have played together before. Falstad picked up immediately for that global presence. Falstad, arguably the best assassin on this map. Between the global and Gust, making sure you can deny boss fights. Pretty crazy. Abathur picked up. Abathur first picked up. I don't agree with that. Abathur is incredibly strong in Crystal, like straight up one of the strongest heroes in Crystal. But Falstad is far and away the best Abathur hunter. A lot of people think it is Zeratul or Nova, and it's not. Mines shut down Zeratul and Nova hard, as long as you're very careful and clever with their placement. You want to know how to place mines well as an Abathur? Play a few games of Zeratul, and then look at the places. Go back and look at the places you walk over constantly when you're trying to look for kills, look for rotations. Then you play Abathur and you put mines in all those places. Abathur is extremely good against Zeratul because of the constant reveal, the constant awareness of where he is, helps your team not die to those rotational kills. But with Falstad on the map, Falstad can just literally fly into people. So you should be careful about picking Abathur and Falstad, and you shouldn't prioritize him. Li Ming picked up as well as ETC, so they now have arguably the two strongest mages in the game at the moment, Li Ming and Falstad. Falstad's mage build pretty much dominant, and then both of the strong tanks, the control tanks, I should say, locked in, Murder and ETC. The other tanks, there's other strong tanks like Tyrael, but they lack stuns. They are a different sort of beast. Medivh banned out by dropping Georgeous, pulling that respect ban. And Skyelight? I mean, what does Skyelight ban here? They can deny... They can deny Gul'dan. Gul'dan was picked up in the previous game. They do still want a mage. They could ban Greymane. Or they could ban Jaina. I think banning Greymane or Jaina is the correct call here. That Abathur wants to clone someone. And... yeah, they do end up banning the Greymane. All right, that's fair. You got to think about it. The question here isn't what's the best possible clone. The question is what's the worst possible clone for our comp to deal with. And in Skylight's case, they have mobility, but no health. Falstad and Li Ming, both relatively fragile heroes, which means that the burst from Greymane and the chase potential of double Greymane is worse than the double burst of a Jaina, even though Jaina is one of those classic combos. Uther picked up... oh, it's going to be Butcher. It's going to be Butcher. It's going to be double Butcher. Yep, the Uther lock in. They're going for the late game wreck comp with double Butcher. Butcher actually not a good clone anymore. He's okay. He's an okay clone. But so much of Butcher's power is now wrapped up in his meat quest. Collecting that 125 meat, that the clone, even though it does 20% additional base damage because of the extra damage that Ultimate Evolution wraps in there for you. Abathur's a good hat. Abathur's a good hat for Butcher, but Butcher himself needs a lot of stacking. Tychus is locked in for the melt plus the Mosh interrupt potential with the grenade. They actually needed that. They're going to be in a lot of trouble here. Skyelight, thinking about what they do. Skyelight pretty much needs to either go double support here or pick up a support plus a bruiser. That bruiser cannot be a second tank. Two tanks versus Tychus ends up being relatively fragile when one of those tanks has a relatively average health pool. Which ETC does. LGC's health pools, it's good, but it's still meltable. Absolutely meltable. So they can pick up something like a Kerrigan. Kerrigan is very good on Cursed Hollow because of the choke points. You can consistently land multi-man combos. They pick up Ariel. The Ariel makes me think that they're going to go double support, honestly. Or we might see a Brightwing here to sort of get the double global and deny some of the Abathur soak. They already have enough damage. They don't need more damage. I feel like Skyelight got real deep into the draft and was like, what about, no, what about, we could take, but then there's, I don't, what, do we, They pick up the Brightwing, alright. Brightwing, by the way, was the correct call there because Uther Abathur is enabling a melee assassin. I don't know what the melee assassin is yet, but they're enabling someone. And Brightwing, between Poly and Emerald Wind, is the best anti-dive support in the entire game. And all melee assassins are essentially dive heroes of one kind or another. So it could be Illidan, could be Butcher. It ends up being Kerrigan. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Kerrigan is going to be relatively weak to Brightwing. It's not as late game. I think if they picked up Butcher, that would have been too focused on the late game. They wouldn't have had as good a clone. Clone Tychus and Clone Kerrigan are both very strong. As is, honestly, Clone Muradin. So, pretty good draft from both teams. I do think that... I think that Skyelight came out a little bit ahead. Honestly. Abathur's good, but Brightwing plus Falstad, you're never going to get so far ahead in experience with an Abathur that it makes a difference. And one thing important to note about Drophead Gorgeous composition is it doesn't have any poke. Other than Tychus post 7 with quarterback, they can't delay tributes. They have no poke. Zero. Zip. Zilch. Nada. And when you have a Abathur comp with no poke, it means... Already switched. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, issue with the game. Worked it out. Players are happy. If you don't have any poke and you're running an Abathur-style comp on Cursed Hollow, you want to be able to delay the tributes to maximize the value of that Abathur soak. If you don't have poke, if you have no way of delaying the tributes and you have to go in with your body and actually get that delay, you're sacrificing a lot of free damage. And if you keep trading damage like that, eventually the enemy team's going to get a kill. And the more kills they get, the more the Abathur soak ceases to matter. If they don't get the delay at all, right? You don't trade damage, but you don't get the delay. They get free tributes. Then you're basically even all the way to 10, but you've probably lost all the tributes because they were 5v4s. And then the enemy team gets tribute first. They get 10. They push. They get the first boss. They get the first fort. They get the first keep. And a well-disciplined team can just snowball a lead out of that small advantage. So Skyelight is going to be in a position to just win the game very early on here. It's going to take some really crisp rotations, some really crisp play from Dropping Gorgeous to pull this off. The problem with that is that with the mount speed change, rotations are worse. They're harder to do. And thinking about it that way, they're in a lot of trouble. But let's get into the game. We'll see how our teams end up working out. So for Drophead Gorgeous, we have Gelda on Muradin, Chaos on Abathur, Pugs Not Drugs on Kerrigan, Ajax on Tychus, and Unitas on Uther. On the right side of the map, we have for Skyelight, Lady Sky on ETC, H-Meko on Falstad, Soy Ysarin on Liming, Schism on Brightwing, and Izzy Ismo on Ariel. Both teams just going to go 5-man. We do see Third Wind picked up for Muradin. I actually think this is the strongest talent at this tier. right now after the changes. There's some. I think the other two are situationally good, but Third Wind by far the best default. My Murden guide is in fact updated. People want to take a look at it to account for the new patch. Do see just Kerrigan things sitting in a bush, hiding, waiting out. But Soyuz there are going to be like, let's just get some free siege damage. We don't know where they are, but we know where they're not. And they're not denying us from doing this. Ajax in the top lane. H-Mech are going to fly up there and still just giving up this free tower. They're starting to go on them now, but this tower has taken so much damage. They've lost so much ammo. They lost a wave of experience. And are they going to get a kill? His Schism is so low, but his trait does kick in. Gelda with the jump in, but Izzyismo with the heal. They are missing some soak bottom. Abathur is getting that. Actually, Abathur's not getting that because he's not having the wave and he's not far enough out. He actually should be in this bush. He has mines. He'll see the rotation before it happens. Should be in this bush. That's actually a little bit of a mistake by KS missing that soak. He could have gotten his team a little tiny bit ahead. And again, when you have an Abathur, it's about marginal experience advantages, marginal advantages on the map that eventually allow you to strangle out your opponent. Not getting those in the early game is a really bad sign. It means they don't have a lot of experience playing Abathur-style comps. They don't have a lot of confidence in the map awareness and the vision and the communication, calling out rotations. And that's a bad sign. That is a bad sign, ladies and gentlemen. H-Meko in the top lane, just, hanging out. Like, Ajax is there, but Ajax is not going to be able to do anything. Gelda is extremely low. And they end up getting the tower for free eventually, which gets them a little bit of a lead. And this is what you're afraid of as an Abathur comp. Whenever you're an Abathur comp, you're afraid of falling behind an XP early, because it means you're that much farther away from a fair fight. Schism gonna polymorph Pugs on Drugs. Pugs on Drugs has the combo available, did not even combo after the polymorph. Could have landed it, just opted not to. Like, oh, you're probably gonna dodge it anyway. Why even waste the mana? Killing people's overrated. Gelda taking some damage here, getting chunked. Third Wind is kicking in. You can see it just regens him so fast. But the full wall does go down in the mid lane. And now they're starting to work on the well, getting the wave. Pugs on Drugs rotates back up for the threatening. And they're just not going to win this third lane. Lady Sky actually goes into the combo, juking the stun, even though the Primal Grass still hits her. Gelda completely out of mana. That's the one thing Third Wind does not help you with, is if you're out of mana, you're out of mana. Falstad chunked out of lane, is forced to back off. They start to miss a little bit of soak in the top as a result, but Falstad is going to get back here in time, barely. And Schism, meanwhile, in the bottom lane, making sure that Abathur's soak is not going to matter. Neither team picking up their siege, so there's going to be no mercenary pressure. I'm going to go ahead and call that a little bit of a mistake. You always want to pick up your siege at the 2-minute mark. Get that pressure going. As soon as possible. Both teams have heroes that could solo siege if necessary. But nice combo onto Izzyismo. But the peel from Lady Sky, 200 health, however, 100 finally gets a heal off the Brightwing regen being enough to fill that gap. And this is going to be a long, but no, a 3-man combo. Murden ends up going down, but so does Ariel. Li Ming, however, gets resets when someone on their team dies, and blue team does not have a Li Ming, so it doesn't quite work out the same way. 2 kills for 1 there. Tribute going over. Brightwing does Z in at the top, but look, H-Meko has fly and goes back down to the bottom. This is the advantage of double global. You are never getting ahead as an Abathur comp versus double global. Nope, not happening. And this is why I'm surprised they would draft Abathur at all into a Falstad, but to draft Abathur early on versus a Falstad, you're committing yourself to a strategy that is going to be a struggle all game long. Prolific Dispersal pickup, along with Thunderburn, Psionic Pulse, bigger they are, and Balanced Conviction. You see Double Neck Guitar, Static Shield, Triumvirate for the increased poke, Arcane Barrage for the same reason, giving that range, and Majestic Span picked up. Cleanse picked up as well for Brightwing. That is a pretty important pickup versus carrying. It patches a weakness that Ariel has, not being able to take Cleanse. Boomerang picked up, Seeker. No big surprises really across the board. I'm curious to see what level 7 talent we're going to see out of Ariel. We almost exclusively see Empathic Link, but none of her hat targets are melee heroes. So we're probably not going to see Empathic Link. Wouldn't get very much value. And there's been some variation. We do end up seeing Bursting Light, so going for that cooldown reduction to have the heal available more often. With good hat swapping, that can actually matter quite a bit. You had the Li Ming, she gets her combo, then you have the Falstad, he gets his combo. You go back and forth, you can end up getting a lot of hope generated very quickly. Bruisers in the mid lane are going to start pushing in. This well is going to go down. This is the closest well to this next tribute. That well is gone. That is going to be very stressful for the blue team. This is the tribute that's going to be on their side of the map. The next tribute is guaranteed to be on the red team side of the map. So they don't get this tribute, and they have to fight for Curse Point on the other side of the map after this, and they don't have their well. They're in a lot of trouble. This is the best possible scenario for the far tribute for the red team as it gets. And they are starting to make stuff happen. You see Schism in the top lane, just soaking and soaking and soaking. Chaos in the mid, like he's not getting soaked here that his team's not already getting. This soak is already happening. Pugs Not Drugs ends up going down, caught out by Izzy. Is he going to go down? The cleanse does happen. Cleanse isn't actually needed there, but doesn't even matter. Gelda is going to get away with the shenanigans. Soya Saren actually jumping over the wall, and Gelda turns around and he's like, you jumped over the wall. I must be able to 1v1 you as a result. But no, it was just a distraction. Lady Sky comes in with the power slide and secures that kill. Gelda should have just kept running. Let me tell you, Gelda should have just kept running. Does not. That is 4 kills to 2, 2 tributes to 0. Schism moving down into the bottom lane. We do see Ajax in the top lane soaking, trying to catch his team up. But it's not going to be enough. It's just not. Abathur actually picking up Mule at level 7, starting to restore health and ammo to the mid fort. The mid fort was actually very low. It's going to start to get some value. Keep an eye on that for the rest of the game. See if that Mule is enough to offset their extremely bad opening game. Mosh Pit picked up Mighty Gust, Emerald Wind for the disengage, Crystal Aegis, and I'm curious to see... Muradin gets picked off again in the top lane. Was busy looking at heroics, was not busy looking at health bars, but Muradin... Oh no, excuse me, that was Tychus. Again, patch day issues. Ollie's UI is having a couple bugs here and there. I gotta talk. I'll talk about it on Twitter right after this. Disintegrate is picked up for that long-range poke, but 10 locked in for blue, so they actually can contest this. It is not on their side of the map, but it is Curse Point. I'm curious to see if they're going to opt in contest it. We see Avatar, Ultimate Evolution, Maelstrom, Laser, and Divine Shield picked up. And Easy Ismo, a little bit alone. A little bit alone. Ariel's a hero that really never wants to be alone. Maelstrom is immediately popped, but Aegis comes down for the bait. Gust for the disengage. No! Emerald Wind for the disengage. Divine Shield onto Muradin instead of Kerrigan. That had to be a misclick. Laser coming down, doing some zoning. H-Meko is going to go down. The anti-synergy Gust out of the mosh pit. The grenade from over the wall. Ajax does kill off H-Meko on that fall stat. 1 for 1, and a lot of teams wasting their heroics, to be honest. Chaos on the clone trying to channel the tribute. The Arcane Flare from Brightwing is going to be enough. That range at 4 is enough to make sure that doesn't happen. Ajax gets absolutely chunked here. Lady Sky face melting into the Disintegrate. That's got to hurt. Power Slide going to secure at least 1 more kill. I believe Unitas should not get out of this, but he might. This keeps up with the stun. Lady Sky mounting up. Izzy Isno, I think, could stun into the corner there. Pugs Not Drugs with the peel combo. Not something you see very often. But the tribute does come down. This building is no longer a safety net. And we do see the stun on Pugs Not Drugs from Ariel. And we should have Power Slide available. I'm not sure why that Power Slide did not happen. But they're going to be pushing in the mid lane. Starting to even work on these keep towers, honestly. Tychus... Falstad ends up going down. Sorry about the areas. Tychus ends up getting erased through the wall. You can't stand that close to a wall versus a Diablo or a Kerrigan. They are guaranteed to land their combo on you. And the counter initiation, the chase is real. Brightwing goes down as well. Lady Sky gets Aegis, but it's not going to matter. And Izzy Ismo dies as well. That is bad. They're just feeding in kills at this point. And that's what you don't want to do. Pressuring here against the wall was a huge mistake. It gave him that first kill, and all the kills that resulted after that were just a result of that domino effect coming out into the lane. When you have the curse up, you want to push with the curse. You want to make sure you're getting as much experience as possible, getting all of these minion waves. If you have an Abathur, it doesn't really matter because he can go around and hat all the waves and get that experience for you. And you have globals, you want to do the same thing. And they only end up getting a single fort, the fort that was already pretty damaged, to be honest. Abathur does go down. However, nice kill there. And that was kind of a wasted curse, honestly, from Skyelight. You generally want to get at least 2 forts from a curse, from a first curse. They got 1. They got a little bit of damage, top and bottom on the walls. The walls are gone. But they didn't get as much as they wanted, and they actually basically let Dropted Gorgeous even out the experience, which, when you're ahead of an Abathur comp in experience, you never want to let them even out the experience. That's how they come back in the game. Skyelight, bit of a mistake there. Starting to let their opponents come back. We see Spray and Pray picked up, increasing the overkill range. Holy Shock, again, going for that basically pre-heal. For those of you not familiar with Uther's rework, what the Holy Shock allows you to do now, Holy Shock can be used on an enemy to do 50% of its healing amount of damage with a 6-second less cooldown. So what you do is you use it on an enemy before a fight, And then it comes off cooldown 6 seconds later. And when you get into a fight, you have one massive burst heal that you can give to an ally. It's kind of like a preloading a big heal. I'm not a huge fan of it. I think the sustain healing from Bus Champion or the playmaking potential of Shrink Ray both end up being better on average. Pugs Not Drugs immediately popping. Maelstrom. We did see that massive pre-charged Q come into play, as well as the Divine Shield, but Kerrigan ends up going down despite all of that. Just is dead. Laser ends up getting isolated and focused as well. Not going to do enough to zone them away, but looks like Ajax and Gelder are all going to get away here. But they're just going to start boss. No. H-Meko thinking about going over the wall for the Gust. Should have gone over the wall for the Gust. Ends up catching Muradin, which is okay, but that's a Muradin. Probably still going to manage to get out of here with the stun, with the healing static at 13. Polymorph, maybe? Nope. Not going to happen. So they end up getting that one kill, blow a lot of heroics. They're in fairly dangerous territory here. The fort, however, does have the siege pushing in on it. They can finish it off very quickly. The UI thinks that was a building. Turns out it was not a building. Who knew? Man, I gotta talk to Ali about this. Tell him about the bugs. H-Meko flying to the top lane, countering the Abathur push. Abathur's just not going to get anything done this game, honestly. No big surprises in terms of talents. We see Face Melt picked up, Flow Rider, Glass Cannon, Shield Dust, and Blinding Flash, along with Healing Static, Bombard Strain, Eviscerate, and we talked about Holy Shock already. Eviscerate for that playmaking potential. I really like Eviscerate. For that long-range potential engage. You can engage from some surprising areas. Double Kerrigan coming out here. The instant clone. Misses one combo, but Lady Sky accidentally walks into it. Aegis comes down. Mosh Pit actually ends up catching. Emerald Wind comes down, just sort of trying to force people into the mosh. Does not quite work out. Forces the disengage. Gust as well. And that's a lot of blown heroics for not a lot of value from either team. The clone ends up going down, but a 3-man combo by Pugs Not Drugs. Lady Sky is, however, very low. Walks into the laser, realizes that's not a direction she can go. Divine Shield comes down for the disengage. Pugs Not Drugs not going to be able to make this happen. And the Seeker, the Seeker procs finishes off the kill. Unitas with the stun for the peel. But Muradin in the backline is going to end up going down. And Soya Saren still chasing. Unitas trying to make something happen with the Gust. Uther ends up, or the fly-in by H-Meko looking for, yeah, I meant the fly-in, not the Gust. Gust is on cooldown. Doesn't even make sense. 1 tribute to none, 16 talent tier to 15, and they could probably do boss at this point. They actually do need the Brightwing here. Ariel has a lot of trouble healing through PvE damage. The boss is going to do quite a bit. We don't see groupies picked up at 13. We actually have almost always seen groupies picked up at 13 when you have Ariel as a soul support, but with the Brightwing coming in, it is going to regen them enough. Should be fine. And that will be boss. Blue team, aware that this was probably happening, did not have time to actually rotate to their boss and do anything. So double boss going to be coming out here for red team unless blue team opts to soak 16 and then contest. But tribute coming up next to the boss. That is just so perfect for Skyelight. They want to be near the boss. They wanted to get the tribute. Both of them next to each other. It's like, yes, please. They're going to get a free tribute. They're going to get a free secondary boss. This boss actually will be threatening a keep because there is no fort in this bottom lane. They push with it. They should be able to secure a keep. It will be a 14-minute boss. It was aggroed at the 14-minute mark. And H-Meko pushing out that lane first, making sure that the minion wave is going to be there to accompany them in the meanwhile. Root goes down because they're all grouping up for the Ariel heal. This is awkward, guys. But they're going to get the globe. They're going to get topped off. It's not going to matter. They burn the boss down extremely quickly with those Seeker procs in particular from Li Ming. Fireflies actually picked up. Noise? Well, interesting. So Seeker Fireflies trying to throw out more Qs more often, trying to get that proc up more often. Waiting for the boss at this point. They're just going to poke, 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 poke. They have so much poke with the increased range on Brightwing Q, with Falstad, with Li Ming. They can poke that wall for days. Abathur releasing his Locust here, actually trying to help de-push the boss. We do see the Tri-Locust picked up. Locust Brood at 16. And gonna get the keep wall basically for free. Gelda trying to do some zoning potentially, but gets stunned by that Containment Strike. Boss is gonna go down. They're not quite gonna get a keep, even though they do get the entire keep wall, and they're just gonna back up. This is Curse Point for them. And if they get this curse, they can easily get 20. And if they get 20 and then they take a fight, 20 versus 18, they should be able to end the game. They have the global, so they have the potential to get a lot of experience out of this curse as long as they don't mess up this fight at the tribute and then don't mess up the subsequent abuse of the curse to make sure they get further ahead. Both teams at level 16. Benediction picked up, given the axe for Murden, armor increasing rounds, so much extra damage picked up. Ooh, Divine Shield on top of the Mosh, denying it from Lady Sky. Lady Sky not going to get too much work. The Gust comes out. That actually isolates Lady Sky a little bit. Aegis for the save at the end, but ends up going down for free, and a little bit of miscommunication there from Skyelight. They have this problem. They've had this problem all game, overlapping their heroics in very unfavorable ways, and it's starting to cost them hard right now. Schism going to go down as well. Soya Saren on Li Ming poking from over the wall. Gets a lot of damage. H-Mecho completely out of mana. Starts to heart with Gelda chasing him. I don't think that one's going to work out for you, buddy. Does get out of there, however, and it was just ETC. Brightwing went down. Still curse point for Skylight, but that's what Dropped Gorgeous needed to start coming back in this game. They are going to grab their bruisers really quickly, as are Skylight, just grabbing their bruisers, trying to reset the map, essentially, waiting for that next team fight. Still half a level ahead, basically, in experience. And Abathur's Mule actually getting some value here. This boss normally would have taken this fort down, would have pushed in. They burned it down fast enough that it was not a factor. We'll have to see. Siege camp picked up as well, and both teams getting their camps. Both teams like, okay, we know the tribute's going to come up. We want this lane pressure. This is actually more valuable for Drop Dead Gorgeous than it is for Skylight because of that potential. Abathur pressure that could happen in the late game. Once the Abathur has Locust Brood, his pressure is absolutely insane. It's like easily takedown keeps level of pressure if you leave him unattended for too long. Tribute spawning in the top, and Drop Dead Gorgeous already here. They're hunting H-Mecho. They might be able to get him. Gust needs to be used. He has it. He has it. Okay. His team does come to the rescue. That forces out Gust. He's a little bit low, but stand next to Brightwing for a little while. He'll be absolutely fine. Schism going to do the channel. Gelda jumping over the wall does not quite make it. And Skylight is split. We do see Lady Sky on this side, H-Mecho on this side, but the rest of her team is over there. This is a really bad situation for them. They're not going to be able to poke and interrupt because they were split, because they had to rescue H-Mecho, because they didn't all retreat in the same direction. They do have Bruisers pushing top and Siege pushing bottom, but now just curse point for both teams. Skylight can actually soak 20 and then force a fight. We do see Abathur walking around, trying to start de-pushing these lanes a little bit with his Locust rather than getting the aggressive pressure. And starting to catch up in experience, but we do see H-Mecho in the back there on the minimap. You can see him in the top lane starting to de-push that lane. And Skylight just going in, trying to get the value on this middle keep wall. Trying to get 20 off of the experience. Emerald Wind comes in for the disengage. Lady Sky is safe and sound. Power slides out. Pugs Not Drugs going in with the aggressive Ravage. Gets a Primal Grasp, but because she was knocked back mid-combo, did not manage to cast the stun at the same time. So nothing really ends up happening there. And 20 picked up for Skylight. And at this point, Tribute spawning, they can go get it uncontested. Almost Epic Mount is picked up. Falstad flies right after he picks up Epic Mount, so he will have the cooldown reduction. Continuous Winds picked up. Diamond Resolve going for that Overshield of Hope. A Temporal Flux and Death Metal. Filling ETC now a very dangerous proposition indeed. Kerrigan caught out. Ooh, at not 20. So close to 20, but not 20. That will be a free curse for Skylight with their boss up and with bottom boss coming down as well. This is pretty much going to be game. Drop Dead Gorgeous would have to play out of their minds, or Skylight would have to make a huge mistake for anything at the end of the game to happen right here. Aggressive fly-in, aggressive Gust. Gelda and Ajax end up getting caught out. Divine Shield is going to save Ajax for the moment. He doesn't really have anywhere to go. He can retreat, but only to the enemy team side of the map. Gelda, in the meanwhile, tries to do the switcheroo with the jump. Emerald Wind comes down, but this mosh pit, no one around to interrupt it, and that'll be 2 free kills. Uther and Murden going down. Murden will be right back, I believe. They do have Redemption, and he's just going to slowly wander away, be like, guys, truce, but H-Mecho with the Epic Mount does fly in and get another kill on Uther. And that will be a free keep at this point, and they can honestly just go core and end the game. Nothing's going to stop them. They're just going to focus the core. Ajax trying to get that damage in. And it's not going to happen. Ooh, Bugs on Drugs actually catches Schism, almost gets a kill there. And the curse is over, and only one keep down. Support and tank both still dead, but they have Kerrigan, they have Tychus, they have the clone as well, potentially. Double Kerrigan. The aggressive fly in with the Gust again, but double Kerrigan's okay with that until continuous wins happen, in which case she's not. Falstad actually goes too deep, not realizing the buildings are alive and well, and ends up going down. That is a two-man combo. Schism and Izzy Ismo taking a lot of damage, and Lady Sky with the peel. Kerrigan going to end up going down, but Gelda is back alive and well, and they can't keep staggering these death timers. If they keep staggering these death timers, eventually Skylight will be able to overwhelm them, but with Falstad dead, I think they actually have to back out here. And dropped in Georgeous, making plays, and Skylight making mistakes. And those two things together are allowing this game to continue. That middle lane will be constantly pressured by catapults for the rest of the game. That's going to help deny vision of rotations, which is absolutely critical. Gelda checking the boss. He's like, I know what you guys are doing, and I'm not going to let you have this for free. Does get stunned by Lady Sky, but... Oh, and the Attainment Strike follow-up. As at half health, the Polymorph as well. Greater Polymorph picked up at 16, which means so much damage is going to be done. But he has Avatar available. He's just reluctant to pop it, so he's going to be absolutely fine. Chaos with the clone on Muradin. They're going for the double. They're going for the double Muradin. Double the hammers, double the fun. That clone is just being so annoying. Constantly getting value, pushing all the lanes. H-Mecha, meanwhile, in the bottom lane. Just pushing in the lanes. Push, 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 push. The more these lanes are pushed in, the less value the Avatar can possibly get in terms of the siege potential with his Locust. H-Mecha again getting rotated on. Time to leave. It's time to leave. H-Mecha, it's time to Gust. Only gets Muradin, however. That is going to be a free kill. No! Schism! Schism with the Emerald Wind save. Hyper shifts, phase shifts in, gets the continuous wins Emerald Wind to deny the kill, and H-Mecha's fine. I don't even know what anyone was worried about it. Meanwhile, Boss getting picked up by the rest of the team, and again, this is one of those things. Lady Sky is going to take a lot of damage. Izzy Isma is going to struggle to heal her on boss-like objectives because the damage is so incredibly low. But blue team, Dropping Gorgeous is going to pick up their boss as well, and this is Curse Point for Dropping Gorgeous, so they should rotate to distribute and potentially pick it up. 6 seconds. I don't think they're going to make it in time. We do see Lady Sky grabbing vision, making sure the zone with the mount speed change. I think it's actually impossible to make it in time without a global, unless Abathur can get a mine, but he can't get a mine on 2 separate targets like that to interrupt both of them because there are people there that can clear. And both teams can push with boss. There's a fort in the bottom lane, so that boss is going to get no value whatsoever. Meanwhile, Skylight going to push with their boss and their siege also picked up. Pretty much going to guarantee this keep. This is a very late game boss. It's a 22-minute boss. That is a very strong scaling. Going into this, the well goes down, the wall goes down for free, and the well gets instantly erased. Gelda starting this fight pretty low health, has that 3rd win though, so if he just avoids taking damage for a little while, he will regen basically to full instantly. Look at how fast his health picks back up. But that is half health boss, keep down on the core. They can force the fight here. We do see a little bit of a Gust there, not really too impactful to be perfectly honest. Hugs Not Drugs going for the massive combo, but Emerald Wind Aegis denying the kill. Ajax is so low, forced to burn Divine Shield defensively onto Tychus. And 82% on the core, 70, 75, or 75, 60. Oh, that's a mosh. The resets. The boss ends up going down, but that will be core. G.